Have you ever tried to help a patient or a client quit smoking, but you felt unable to guide them and break through to them? Or you felt you were telling them all the right things, but nothing was enough to move them to action? Or maybe they were telling you that logically they understand what you're saying, but emotionally they just cannot do it. They're not motivated enough. They're too addicted. They're a lost cause. They're too old to change. All those things. And you couldn't get them to believe that this is not the case. So it all starts by making 5 fundamental mistakes. Avoiding those mistakes can help you tremendously in helping your patients quit smoking. Of course, as quit smoking coaches, there are so many things to learn, so many things to do right, so many mistakes to avoid. But if you're making any of those 5 fundamental mistakes, nothing else can fall into place. You can be the best, you can have the best intentions, your patient can want it so much, but if you're making any of those mistakes, it will not stick. You will not be able to help them. So this video is for you if you already specialize in quitting smoking, but you have education, you help people, but sometimes you find it hard to get through to them and help them and guide them quit smoking and remain smoke-free. And this video is also for you if you're a healthcare professional, a doctor, a psychotherapist, a nurse, a counselor. You do not specialize in quitting smoking, but you encounter a lot of smokers that want to quit smoking or need to quit smoking, and you want to be better able to help them and guide them. My name is Nasia Davos. I am an ex-smoker, I'm a psychologist, I'm a life coach, quit smoking coach, and the creator of the CBQ Method, the cognitive behavioral quitting method that helps people change their thinking and behavioral patterns so they can break free from all forms of nicotine. And I'm also a trainer of other quit smoking coaches, starting of course with the CBQ Method team, our amazing team of coaches. A few years ago, there was a smoking cessation practitioner. She emailed me. She's working for the NHS, the National Healthcare System here in the UK. And she was telling me all about how she was looking on Google for new tools and new ways to allow her to help her patient quit smoking, because she was very well educated, but there were things missing that could not allow her to help her patient as best as she could. So she found the CBQ Method, she listened to the quit smoking webinar twice, she loved it, and she asked to become more proficient and learn the CBQ Method so she can better help her patients. Because of course, every quit smoking coach, the thing we want is to help people quit smoking. We want to see our patients and our clients succeed and change their lives as a result. So feeling stuck, feeling unable to help your patient is the worst feeling in the world. So this lady, she's one of the thousands of professionals who have reached out to us over the years about this. So we wanted to do something about it, because here's the thing. There are 1.1 billion people who smoke in the world. Hundreds of millions of people want to quit smoking. So how would the world be like if more people quit smoking successfully? It all starts by avoiding those 5 basic fundamental mistakes. The first mistake is not educating your patients about the physical and the mental aspect of the smoking addiction. A lot of people think that smoking is just a physical addiction to nicotine. They add up the years they've been smoking, all the decades, and they conclude that they're too addicted and too old to change. But that is a limiting belief. This belief keeps them stuck, and it's also not the whole truth. Smoking is 80% mental and 20% physical. The mental addiction is how much a smoker believes they enjoy and need smoking, and how much part of their life it is, how ingrained in their life it is. The physical addiction is just the addiction to the substance nicotine. Now, the 80 and 20 percentages, they're not quantifiable, but what is quantifiable is the fact that nicotine as a substance, it has a short half-life. It quickly leaves the body. So 3 to 5 days after not using any nicotine, the body is nicotine-free and the physical addiction is done. What keeps people coming back to smoking is the mental addiction. Missing smoking, feeling life is not enjoyable without it, missing the friend, missing their coping tool. All this is the mental addiction, not the physical one. So Trying to help someone quit smoking, even giving them minimal advice without telling them about the physical and the mental addiction, is like trying to assemble a complex piece of furniture without reading the manual. You are not going to end up with what you expected. It's not going to be it. The physical and the mental addiction is essential. And the truth is that a lot of doctors, oncologists, cardiologists, we work with a lot of those professionals. They ask us to help their patients. They don't know the ins and outs of quitting smoking. They don't specialize in it. They don't have the time to dive into that. And the direction and education on smoking cessation on the medical field is almost exclusively provided by pharmaceutical companies. Let me know in the comments if that's your experience as well, if that's exactly how you've experienced it. The second mistake is not acknowledging and normalizing the inner conflict your patient experiences. Every smoker experiences a conflict of desires. The conflict between wanting to smoke or needing to smoke and wanting to be smoke-free or needing to be smoke-free. Every smoker has this conflict and they struggle with it. Even when they don't consciously think about it, it's nagging in the back of their mind. It's emotionally and psychologically draining. But when a smoker, they want to quit and then they catch themselves obsessing about a cigarette, they take that as personal weakness. They take it as a personal fault, as lack of willpower, while in reality, that inner conflict is a normal part of the quit smoking process. It is in fact the beginning of the quit smoking process. No change can begin to happen without that conflict arising. That conflict is their inner values, their inner desires that tells them you should be doing something differently. So, putting a name on that inner conflict, normalizing it, is very important so that your patient will not think that something is wrong with them or that they're unable to quit smoking, but understand that this is part of breaking free. And once they overcome the mental addiction that we talked about in the previous mistake, once they overcome the mental addiction, they will resolve that conflict and they will just have the desire to be smoke-free. The third mistake is assuming they're ready to quit smoking just because they asked for help. Having the desire to quit smoking, however faint, it is a very important step to quitting smoking. But wanting to quit smoking is not the same as feeling ready to quit smoking. Feeling ready to try to quit smoking is not the same as feeling ready to be without cigarettes. So don't assume they're ready just because they ask for help. To go from wanting to quit smoking to deciding, to committing, there are steps that need to happen. And this is what happens on the first quit smoking stage of the CBQ method, which is choose to quit. It's all about making a real firm decision. It's all about going from I want to quit smoking, I would like to quit smoking, to I have decided. It's happening and nothing will get in my way. Your patients, of course, they have a reference of a time in their lives where they made a decision and nothing got in their way. So they know how it feels like to decide something. This is where you need to get them, and this is what the first stage of the CBQ method is all about. The fourth mistake is judging them for smoking, judging them for failing, judging them for being ill and smoke. Especially when a quit smoking coach or a healthcare provider, they are non-smokers or never smokers, it is very easy to judge a bit. We're humans, we err, we judge. It's not on purpose. It's just our natural values and beliefs and inclinations, and sometimes it comes from care for our patients. This judging, I wish they understood that this is not good for them, because you want them to be healthy, you want them to do well. But it's very important to cast and minimize this judgment, because even if you don't realize it, it will become a wall, an invisible wall between you and your patient. And that wall is you thinking they should be doing something differently, which is something they already know. They judge themselves a lot already. So don't judge them if they're still smoking with a health disease. They're here for help. That's a good thing. Don't judge them if they have failed 1,000 times. The fact that they're asking for help, it means that this person is committed. They really want it. Failing 1,000 times even if it's 5 times or 2 times, and getting back at it, that says a lot about this person. They really, really want it. So I know this may not apply to most people watching this video, but check yourself. And by doing that, you can also help your patient, because like I said, they judge themselves a lot already. So if you're able to see the positive side of the judgment, so the fact that someone has failed many times and they're back at it means that they really want it, you will be able to open their perspective and help them to stop judging themselves as well. And the last mistake. That is the most difficult to do, but it's the most impactful. The 5th mistake is entertaining the narrative that every smoker has, and that the world has at times, that quitting smoking is hard. Quitting smoking is not hard. Quitting smoking is easy. Quitting smoking has some hard parts that are new and we have to figure out how to overcome. But it is not hard. It's easy. It is the natural state of the body and the mind to be without nicotine. So quitting smoking is easy. Nicotine has a short half-life. It is a weak addiction physically. So don't entertain the narrative that quitting smoking is hard. Now, there are a few things to explain here. This is not about denying the experience of your patient that quitting smoking is hard or their opinion. It is about expanding their awareness, because the truth is that your patient probably has experience. They quit smoking last time, it was so hard, they missed smoking every day, they had horrible cravings, they have had personal experience that it was hard. Or maybe they know from family and friends that quit smoking and found it hard, so they have references, they have reasons to believe that quitting smoking is hard. So it's not about denying their experience or their opinion, it's about expanding their awareness. So what I teach our coaches, whenever someone would say quitting smoking is hard, we ask, what about it do you think is hard? What have you experienced as hard before? This takes quitting smoking from a generally vague or hard thing to a tangible direction where someone can articulate what specifically they worry about or they fear or they have found hard before and then found a solution about it. This is how you do it. What about it do you think is hard? People are going to tell you. People are going to tell you, I am worried I will miss it. I am afraid I will lash out to my loved ones. I am afraid that I will never spend a day in my life without thinking about cigarettes. I am afraid that I will gain weight. People are going to tell you, and their answers are your plan that you have to create for them to help them find quitting smoking easy. It is as simple as that. Showing empathy, it's a different thing. Showing empathy, it's totally different from enabling or drowning, let's drown together in the lie that quitting smoking is hard. You have to see things from a different perspective so you can help your patients get out of the reality that quitting smoking is hard. And you cannot do that if you're in it with them. You have to be outside. Because like with everything in life, you go where you look. If you and your patient together, you look about how hard quitting smoking is, you're going to lead them to experiencing that reality. But if you show them a different reality, that is actually true, that it does exist, you just have to do the work of leading them there, they're gonna have a totally different experience. So that's it. These are the 5 fundamental mistakes. The lady from the NHS that I mentioned before, she emailed me like many other people have, and because of that, I have been working on creating a coaching certification. So if you're interested in it, you can go to cbqcoach.com to learn more. This is perfect for you if you're a professional, a doctor, a therapist, a counselor, if you're a quit smoking coach that you want to upgrade your skills, expand your knowledge, learn the CBQ method, the 4 quit smoking stages and tools that will help you lead your patients and clients to success. Show your interest there. This is not ready yet, but by going to that page, showing your interest, I will be able to reach out to you when something is ready and get started and fill in an application. So let me know in the comments, have you ever made any of these mistakes? Do you know anyone who has made these mistakes? And what other mistakes have you noticed people making? I am looking forward to reading your comments and starting this conversation with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.